Excellent dans ce match, on l'ouvre, ça y est, l'Espagne est en marcha, ça y est.
Maintenant. Parliamentarians in Cameroon from the upper and lower houses, the senators and parliamentarians, will be going back to their constituencies after a fruitful session. They say it was fruitful because of the number of ministers that came at the National Assembly to answer questions from the members of parliament to control government's action. We will be looking at the balance sheet of this session that just ended this morning with Honorable Fongang Prudencia Injo from the Momo East Mbengue constituency. Honorable, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Muki.
We also have Honorable Nestufru Manju from Mezam Center, that is Bamenda and Bali. Honorable, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I must say I'm happy we are dressed, a traditional dress. The real Bamenda man, Bali.
Yeah, Abaka boy.
Let's begin with Honorable. Honorable, if I'm sure the people of a constituency, people of Mbengue, are calling and asking, what was she doing there for us?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to give a vivid report on the June session that was basically on the budgetary orientation of the state of Cameroon. And besides the budgetary orientation, we had the opportunity for advocacy, whereby we had also special plenary sessions, and above all, we also had seminars that were organized by parliamentary networks. It was very interesting, you know, especially on the fact that the bill on promoting volunteerism in our country was introduced. You know, our country, the young people have been suffering from unemployment, and coming up with volunteerism is a major step in the promotion and the stepping up of employment opportunities of our young people in this country. The Right Honorable Speaker of the Assembly also laid emphasis on the COVID-19. You know, as members of parliament, representatives of the people, we need to show example. Reasons why the Right Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly emphasized on parliamentarians being exemplary by taking the COVID vaccine. And at the level of the Assembly, the team was stationed there, and members of parliament were encouraged to have the vaccine. Health is wealth. It will be difficult for us to function in a community where people are sick. Reasons why we are trying to be proactive. As I will be going back in my constituency, I've had opportunities whereby campaigns, sensitization campaigns for COVID-19 were held. I will go and continue.
I think we'll go back to what you'll be doing when you leave from here in the other part of the program. Now, Honorable Nestus from Manjo, what would you be telling the people of Bamenda and Bali that you are representing here in Yaounde that you did for the past 30 days?
Thank you very much, Muki. And for the past 30 days, we've had the opportunity to examine 7 bills within the framework of the National Assembly that were tabled by members of government and defended in various commissions. We've had the opportunity of organizing workshops, as my colleague says, and we've had the opportunity of having 4 plenaries, special plenaries, wherein we talked about issues that are related to the child violence against children, issues related to land organization and acquisition, issues related to universal health coverage and COVID-19 vaccination. And so it's been a session that has been full of activity. And in the light, we see that government has been in line with the National Development Strategy for 2020-2030, the 4 pillars of its on which this National Development Strategy is hinged, all the laws that were sent in, or the projects of the bills that were tabled to Parliament, had aspects that were to buttress this. Like, for instance, we had structural transformation. We had bills that were to promote bilateral trades and investments in Cameroon. We had bills that were talking about movement of officials from one country to another, like the Confederation of Swiss and Cameroon, where the people with diplomatic passports and service passports can move freely. We had bills that were talking about the promotion of employment, like volunteerism, as Honorable Funga was talking about. So, and we had bills that were to ratify ordinances that were taken in order to amend the finance law of 2020, whereby we had government giving the green light to contract some, or to sell Eurobond, or to buy Eurobond, or to raise funds of up to 450 billion to Eurobonds. And it was a very successful venture, which we wish to congratulate the Minister of Finance for such a venture. And
apparently some people will say you're congratulating him, but that money was raised more than that. Has he told you, did he tell you when you called him to control government action what the money is for, how it will be used, and you're sure you will be able to it will be able to go to where it was?
The money will be judiciously used. Once we vote and say money is raised for X, we control and make sure it is used for X. The Eurobonds of 450 billion that were raised,
it was more than 1,000 billion was raised?
No. We gave authorization for 450 billion. There was a possibility of raising 1,200 billions, but we gave authorization for 450 billion.
Is there a contradiction between what you are saying and what the minister said?
No, there's no contradiction. There is that possibility. The minister has the possibility to raise 1,200 bonds because they saw how credible Cameroon was on the international scene. So people were ready to even give Cameroon up to 1,200 billions. But the parliament had authorized him to take 450 billion.
So he said the rest of the money should be kept until parliament authorized?
Exactly.
Okay, now, Honorable Fongan Prudencia Injo, let's take it back home. The cry of the people of the Northwest has been that road to Bamenda and the ring road. And I learned you heard the Minister of Public Works to explain what is happening. What did he tell you?
In effect, you see, there are some difficulties that he himself is having because we thought that by now the road ought to have been graded and tarred by the company that initially took the road, the contract. But unfortunately, it wasn't the case. However, we are not hopeless. We are still hopeful that that road will be done.
What is the problem with the road?
The contractors who were initially granted the contract started the road. But unfortunately, because of insecurity, their machineries were damaged and they had to park for security reasons. That notwithstanding, the people of the Northwest region cannot be penalized. We are still pressing on that there is need for the road network to be linked because once the road is graded, it's going to improve on the economic situation of the region, and it would also be on a positive note in the national economy. Because as the situation is now like this, it's very difficult even for the traders, those who are doing businesses, to move. The insecurity is stepped up because of that.
And Honorable, you have been talking quite a lot about that road. How important is that road, by the way? If you could remind those who are listening, those who are watching us now, on the importance of that road, and maybe those who are stopping the road from being constructed, how important that road can be.
We should know that where the road passes, development follows. Bamenda, Babaju, the ring road are very important to the people of the Northwest region. It is very important not only to the people of the Northwest region, but to the entire Republic of Cameroon. Because the road, Bamenda, Babaju, Bamenda, Ekok, links two sub-regions, the Central African sub-region and the West African sub-region. So it's a sub-regional route which is going to permit the fluidity of goods from West Cameroon, West Africa into Central Africa and vice versa. And that road doesn't only, it's not only an economic jewel to the sub-region, it is equally an economic and most importantly an economic jewel to the Republic of Cameroon. And it acts as an anchor pillar of national integration and national solidarity. The road, the government has been doing a lot to see to it that that road goes through. And as I speak, I know the Minister of Public Works is on his heels, working day in and day out to make sure that that road comes to a realization.
Now, you are MPs from the Northwest region. You have raised the issue of insecurity stopping the road from being constructed. But while you were here in Yaounde, the World Bank came with a loan of 106 billion, if I'm not mistaken, to tar that road. Is the security situation already under control for that road to be tarred? Madam Honorable, since you said security was disturbing the improvement of that road.
The point is that, you know, the socio-political problem we had it since 2016, and it's now 4 years. Nothing is happening. The empty promises that the people in the other side have been making, nothing has happened. So it's high time we come to reasoning. I want to assure you that the contract that was initially granted to Sagai Satum to do the construction of that road, it was an important project for the region and especially the youths, because that particular project was going to generate over 250 job opportunities to the young people. I think that even the population, we are all suffering, and it's high time. We put hands on deck to ensure that that road is constructed. So, on discussing with the Minister of Public Works, parliamentarians have assured the public. They assured him that we will leave no stone unturned to ensure that that road is constructed by hook or by crook.
That's serious. Honorable, you by hook or crook, that's even concerned. Now, but as you say, it's very, very important. Let's hope that it will be constructed. But other issues you raise here have to do with the COVID-19, that we gather in your region, a lot of people are still hesitating to take the vaccine. How are you going to go about it to convince the people that this thing is important?
Well, COVID-19 is a reality, and if it's a reality, we have to face it. And if we must face it, we must build our immunity. And if we must build our immunity, we must get vaccinated. And so the people are a little bit hesitant due to some social media circulations and publications that have indexed the vaccines either or tagged it either positively or negatively. But that notwithstanding, it's a matter of choice. The government is not going to bring stringent measures or to bring pressure to bear on its citizens to take the vaccines. It's a matter of choice. For you to protect yourself, you need to protect your neighbor. For you to stay safe, you need to get vaccinated. And for your neighbor to stay safe, all of us need to get vaccinated. So it is imperative for us to receive our vaccines such that we build a global immunity against this COVID-19 pandemic, which is ravaging, and we know the third phase and the third wave, it's causing a lot of pandemonium around the world, and so we should be able to build immunity such that we can face the challenges ahead of us.
Still concerning the coronavirus, there was an inquiry on the management of funds, and at one moment Cameroonians were told that the report had to be presented, to be submitted to Parliament. Thereafter, there were newspaper reports that report disappeared at the moment it was getting to Parliament. Honorable, what happened? What were you told? Honorable Frank Prudence, enjoy.
That report was not to be presented in the plenary. The report was to be handed to the Right Honourable Speaker of the National Assembly, who has a responsibility to look at it as a legislature. So that was exactly what was done. The report was not to be presented in the plenary as the public thought it was going to be.
Honourable, when it's presented to the Speaker of the House, do you have access to it? Is it a secret document?
No document is secret. What is important is that the people who have access to the document are the people who are meant to have access to the document. And for any document to get to its destination, the people to whom it's written, or the target persons are those to whom the document goes. The report from the audit bench of the Supreme Court was done. It's a report. It goes to who has to examine the report. It is not for everybody, and so it has particular people who have to look at it, and a committee that has to look at it. It's not for us to come and talk about it. When the findings and when the resolutions or the report has been analyzed and it's deemed that it will be made public, it shall be made public. It's not for us to come and we don't comment on the work that is still in the office.
When one listens to you of the civilian party, there's that impression that you are doing everything to defend the government. Camerooners are saying that money was given for this thing, and from the early information we have from my report is that some of this money was swindled. And you say so, nothing wrong in it to ask the question, like your colleagues, you're the peers of this SDF party, Honorable Ninchi and the rest?
You needed to have seen or witnessed the debates at the National Assembly. Then you will understand exactly that there is nothing like pro-government parliamentarian or anti-government parliamentarian. The SDF asked good questions. The PCRN asked good questions. MDL asked good questions. Just like the CPDM parliamentarians asked very pertinent questions on the management of COVID funds. And I think the quarters and the authorities that are charged with the handling of this issue are doing a meticulous job. Let us leave them. Let them have that opportunity of exercising their functions with a liberal mind and with that neutrality and impartiality that is vested on them. Let us not influence their reports or the outcome of whatsoever proceedings or whatsoever job they have been charged with by the talks around. Let's let them do their job.
Thank you, sir. Just to indicate that very soon we shall have here Reverend Kizito Stephen Forby, the national chaplain of the Catholic Men Association, Dr. Ewan Andrew, who is the CMA president for the Yaounde diocese, if I'm not mistaken, and Richard Ndedlajong, who is the national communication secretary for the CMA. And I'm also indicating that this program is live on Facebook. Honorable Fonjang Prudencia Ejo, what are you going to, if at all you go there, to your constituency to be doing this time around? You understand why I say if at all you go there? Yes,
I understand. The point is I want to conclude with the COVID-19 report to say that we should be rest assured that the government's machinery grinds slowly but surely. At the appropriate time, that report will be made public. And if all the parliamentarians need to know, the Right Honourable Speaker is going to invite us. So, for now, the committee that is to study the report is studying it, and in no distant time is going to be made public. Going back to our various constituencies, we are elected officials, representatives of the people. It will make no sense after the session to remain here in Yaounde. We need to go back to carry out restitutions. We need to go back to encourage our people, getting back even to talk about the COVID-19. You heard me say that the Right Honourable Speaker laid emphasis on the fact that parliamentarians should get themselves vaccinated. I want to encourage my constituents and Cameroonians at large that health is wealth, and the scripture says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Prevention is better than cure. I want to encourage the population, please, the COVID vaccine is free. Get to the nearby health center. Get yourself vaccinated to be prevented from attacks of COVID. We have heard that the third waves is going to be deadly. is going to be more severe. Reasons why, during the budgetary orientations, parliamentarians raise issues on the improvement on the health sector, and that budgetary allocations should be stepped up such that in the case of unforeseen, we don't know how the third wave is going to be like. Unlike when it all started, no allocations were set aside for unforeseen. This time around, we encourage that allocations be set aside for unforeseen circumstances.
So Honorable is saying that her people should get set and have the vaccine.
In short, that is what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable. I want to thank you very much for coming and hoping that you go to Mbengui and that your trip will be safe, because I know it is said most of you without the heavy presence of security may not. Well, it's just an observation. Am I far from?
Well, it's an observation you are making, but then we are the people's representative. We need to get in touch with our people, and we try to do that.
Honorable Nestus from Manju, what are you taking back to the people of Bali, Bamenda?
The first thing, it's information. There is a lot of misinformation around the corner, and for this June session that we were in Parliament, a lot of activities were carried out, and we did a lot of we had a lot of audiences, which a lot came out from, and the fallouts which I will take back to my people. I have to educate them on what the government is doing and what is in store for them.
When you're speaking to those people, they want to see it immediately, they want to see it here. Is the price of bread going to be cheaper? Is the war going to, or the crisis
Rome was not built in a day.
If you start explaining that they go to Switzerland and will be free with their diplomatic or service passports, I mean, I don't know people.
Rome was not built in a day. And for you to build, you have to start off by conceiving a plan. When you conceive a plan, you have to set up the foundation. Before you see the structure, it takes some time. We are doing the work. The people should rest assured. I want to tell you, Moki, with the advent of decentralization and the empowering of the councils and the regional assemblies in the northwest and southwest regions, a lot is going on, and we are doing a lot that it will be felt through the local representatives and the local government agencies that are on the ground. Especially, I have told you, all the actions that parliamentarians are taking falls within the 4 pillars of the National Development Strategic Plan.
Honorable Fongam Prudencia Ijob from the Momo East Mbengui constituency, and Honorable Nestus from Manju from Mezam, the centers Bali and Bamenda. Thanks very much for coming to the program.
Thank you for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to inform our people that we are doing fine and that the session is over. They should be expecting us with a very rich package for them, because we are here to represent them. Be rest assured that all what we do around here is for your interest, because you elected us to represent you.
We are taking yet another break, and when we come back, we shall be talking about the Catholic Men Association.
Coronavirus is a dangerous disease. We can avoid coronavirus by not greeting people with your hand. Wash your hand with clean water and soap. Don't not touch your mouth and your nose. Always wear your face mask.
Tout d'abord, le volet purement sportif avec les finales dames et messieurs de lancer de poids, de saut en longueur, de course sur 60 et 400 mètres.
Strategy was not moving. So our coaches worked so hard.
Le deuxième tour éliminatoire de la saison régulière de la Basketball Africa League. 3 clubs sur 8 ont obtenu leur billet d'entrée.
Aujourd'hui, une équipe très engagée, mais je dirais qu'il y a beaucoup de choses encore à faire.
CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.
Merci de nous retrouver pour cette édition de ressources.
Nous avons fait des formations sur les thèmes.
L'ambition du ministère de l'Habitat est de démarrer.
C'est le moment de prendre le round-up économique de la semaine. Vous venez avec les dernières informations sur l'économie au Cameroun et un peu au-delà. Toutes les régions ont abrité des comices agro-pastoraux.
Il y aura une voie d'emprise de 29 mètres et des équipements connexes.
Le ministre de l'Eau et de l'Énergie, Gaston Elundu Essomba, a lancé le 25 novembre dernier un programme de suivi, de contrôle.
Tous les spécimens partout dans le monde et on cherche à faire les cross-breeds.
Le monde agro-pastoral se déploie ainsi dans un contexte de crise sociopolitique avec un risque d'insécurité alimentaire.
Et pour sortir, on va prendre la direction du Kenya pour parler de ce petit détour.
CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.
All over Cameroon will be in Yaounde for the National Convention of the Catholic Men Association, an association that takes needs of men of the Catholic Church and also has some social outreach programs. The president of that association in Cameroon is Mr. OK Johnson Do. We had an interview with him earlier on and he said that they're getting set. But to know how the local organizing committee is set to receive the participants from all over Cameroon, we have Reverend Kizito Stephen Forby, who is national chaplain of the CMA. Reverend Kizito Stephen Forby, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
We also have Dr. Ewang Andrew, the president for the Yaounde Archdiocese. Doctor, you're welcome to the show.
Pleasure.
And my colleague Richard De Lajong, National Communication Secretary of the CMA. Richard, you're welcome to the show.
Thanks so much.
I think we should start with the host president to know from Dr. Ewang Andrew just how Yaounde is set for the event.
Thank you very much, Moki, Edwin Kenzeka. Yes, we have been preparing since November 2020. In fact, various committees were set up. And we have been having preparatory meetings each month since then. And for the past month, we started having preparatory meetings for this great occasion in the Catholic Church in Cameroon, 2 weeks. Now we're having meetings on a daily basis because the D-Day is from Friday and then Saturday and Sunday. So these various committees are working around the clock. There's no sleep. We made sure that the magazine should be coming out. I'm sure since communications is here, he will tell us whether the magazine is out or not. The lodging facilities have been made for our guests.
How many of them do you expect, Doctor?
We expect close to 1,000 delegates from all the 20 dioceses where CMA is implanted in Cameroon. And you know there are 23 dioceses in Cameroon. CMA is found in 20 so far.
Reverend Kizito Stephen Forby, how important is this body called the CMA in the Catholic Church?
The association is unique in its character in that it is made up only of men and the laity in the Catholic Church. And basically, the men want to promote the life of the family, especially following after the footsteps of St. Joseph. Being a loving father, a tender father, a beloved father, a father who works to provide for the family, and a father who is the mainstay of the church. Basically then, this is what the men are out for: to preserve Christian doctrine, to work for the good of the church by working closely with the bishops and the orientations that they give in their pastoral activities.
So this is what the Catholic Men Association is all about.
And Richard, you are the spokesperson for this group, you're the communication secretary. If you were to go out to tell people, to explain to people to better understand what it's all about, I mean, how do you see a member of your association in his daily life, where he works, in his family, and maybe his business premises, please?
Yeah, I think one thing, Moki, that is clear is that any member of the CMA, when you see him, you know, his behavior reflects. I mean, just like no other person in the society, because he tries to live that those virtues of Saint Joseph, who is a patron saint, and so any CMA member, wherever you are, somebody is looking at you, should be able to see that person of Saint Joseph in you, and so your life should reflect even back in your own family and even at your job site. I think that is the long and short of it, that we have to reflect, make our lives towards that of Saint Joseph, imitate his virtues. Once we do that, I think every family is going to be that peaceful family, because Saint Joseph is the head of the family, every man is the head of the family, and so if the man has to lead the people together, just know that the society is going to be a wonderful one. It's going to be a place that anybody would love to live.
Dr. Ewan Andrews said you are represented in 20 of the 23 dioceses in Cameroon. Yeah. Why are you not in 3 other dioceses, Doctor?
We are preparing to have them also come on board. They have indicated to be with us as soon as possible, and their bishops have even contacted us. Obala, Yokaduma, Bama, Eseka. So sooner or later.
Oh, no, not even Baturi.
Mm-hmm. So sooner or later, they will also be with us.
You will be meeting here in Yaounde at the time when the current leadership of the CMA you will also be celebrating about 3 years of leadership. How would you say the leadership that is in the hands of OK Johnson, though, has been able to add, to improve from what was there before he took over? I'll start with you, Richard.
I think the leadership of Brother Johnson OK has taken the CMA to another level, that everybody, every man, what they saw, admires a CMA member, especially during some big ceremonies, when you find you find him in particular, considering his position within the state, you find him putting on the national uniform of the CMA. I think that has been attracting a lot of people. So it makes people think that the CMA is not for a particular group of people. Anybody, no matter your status in society, you can be a member of the CMA. So I think he has taken CMA to another level, where you have those people of a certain echelon admire and want to be. And they have indicated, we have senior state functionaries who have indicated and finding out how to become a member of the CMA. And I think the national president has always, in different forums, advised them how to go about it, go through the doctrine, learn the constitution and other aspects, and I think you'll be admitted as a member of the CMA. So so much has been done. Eh?
What have you seen change in the life of this organ within the past 3 years?
Yes, statutorily, we can smile because now we have a constitution, CMA statutes and bylaws, and even the electoral bylaws. You know, elections can make or mar an institution. And when we met in Douala 3 years ago, August 2017, we could not come out with a new executive because the rules were not well set. And from there, the BAPEC bishops took upon themselves to monitor us very, very well. And the caretaker committee was put in place for about 6 months. And the they studied the draft of our constitution. And before the elections held in the extraordinary Congress in Bamenda on the 9th of February 2018, the Bapek bishops had gone through this document and validated it, which we had adopted in other meetings. They validated it now and gave us a go-ahead. So on the basis of these rules and regulations, which they had blessed, were able to have a hitch-free election.
Now, we should talk about it. We talk about election. But
let me just add one thing. I think yes, also the present executive has made us to have people, a recognition by the bishops of Cameroon, a thing that that how many lay apostolic groups have had. Maybe Father will be able to guide us on that. I think that is one important thing that this current executive has done, that the bishops of Cameroon have given their recognition,
approval.
Given their recognition about the CMA.
Let's hear from the Reverend Kisisto Stephen Fobi himself. Do you appreciate what you see the CMA doing now?
Well,
as the clergy, the church,
there are many areas in which we can say there has been positive change in the CMA. The first one I will say is the exponential growth. We have grown in numbers. We are about 6,000 now in Cameroon, and we have also progressed in holiness. Secondly, this present executive has harmonized all CMA activities. For example, we have the same statutes, we have the same uniform, we have the same prayer books, we have the same electoral code, we have the same formation program, so that if you leave Yaounde and you go to Yagua, for example, you just fit into the group because every week we are doing one and the same thing. And I think that is one of the greatest achievements that we have had with this current executive. Also, this current executive has made us to have a permanent site in Boya, namely our secretariat. So if you go to Boya, close to the Cathedral in Moliko, you will find out that we are building our secretariat there, which is actually a massive structure, which will serve social purposes. For example, it will lodge the people who are unfortunate. It will also have facilities for conferences. It will also have facilities for recollection and prayer. And so that structure has been impulsed under the auspices of this present executive, which I think we are really glad about it. Another milestone of this executive is that this executive has killed the animosity that used to exist between dioceses, and having in such a way that we no longer use professional titles in this association. Before, people will brandish their professional titles, professor this, chief that, fund that, but now it has been leveled out by this present executive.
So that everybody should feel he belongs to the group.
Everybody is a brother, whether you are a vendor, a street vendor, or whether you are a pilot or whatever. Once you come into the association, you leave your professional title aside and you are called brother.
Now, gentlemen, I think we should get to the newsroom now, because it's exactly 7 o'clock, and when we come back from the newsroom, we shall continue with you and to talk about the program, what is going to be happening in Yaounde for the 3 days these delegates are going to be here. You shall also be talking to us about how to be a member of that your association. It is exactly 7 o'clock in Yaounde. Bonsoir. Essiane, bonsoir.
Oui, bonsoir Moki et bonsoir à vos invités.
C'est le journal Crise Essiane. On ouvre ce journal avec cette visite de députés de l'Assemblée nationale pour renforcer les liens entre Cameroun et la Belgique.
Exactement, c'était donc une visite ce jour à la résidence de l'ambassadeur du Royaume de Belgique au Cameroun. Au cours de cette rencontre du groupe parlementaire d'amitié entre le Cameroun et la Belgique, son Excellence Kmer et les parlementaires membres du groupe ont fait le plaidoyer d'un renforcement de liens avec leurs homologues belges. C'était en la présence de notre reporter Nadège Mbaïma.
Les relations historiques entre la République du Cameroun et le Royaume de Belgique sont au beau fixe. C'est ce qui ressort de la rencontre entre le groupe d'amitié interparlementaire Cameroun-Belgique à la résidence de l'ambassadeur de Belgique, son Excellence Éric Jacquemin.
C'est une amitié, des liens qui nous lient depuis 1960. Nous avons toujours été présents au niveau diplomatique à travers notre ambassade. Nous avons établi des liens très forts aussi sur le plan économique et commercial. Et nous avons également toujours maintenu des liens consulaires à travers les échanges de nos communautés respectives.
Une séance de travail sur la diplomatie parlementaire qui a donné l'occasion aux élus du peuple de faire le plaidoyer des liens d'amitié plus renforcés entre les membres du groupe d'amitié interparlementaire Cameroun-Belgique et leurs homologues du Royaume de Belgique.
En tant que groupe d'amitié Cameroun-Belge, nous voulons concourir à la promotion et à la consolidation des liens d'amitié et de coopération entre le Cameroun et la Belgique.
Dans la convivialité, les députés ont profité de ce moment pour saluer les liens historiques entre le Cameroun et la Belgique, en immortalisant ce moment privilégié avec l'ambassadeur et son épouse.
Lutte contre le coronavirus est partie depuis ce matin pour la phase d'intensification et de proximité de la vaccination dans la région du centre. Par exemple, le centre de vaccination de l'hôpital de district de Djungolo, tout est prêt. Quelques personnes ont reçu le vaccin là-bas ce mercredi. Constat fait sur le terrain par notre reporter Joël Igor Abanda.
La phase d'intensification de la vaccination anti-Covid-19 est lancée depuis ce mercredi matin dans la région du centre. Ici à l'hôpital EPC de Djungolo à Yaoundé, la plupart de nouveaux candidats au vaccin contre le coronavirus passent d'abord faire un test rapide. Jusqu'à 9h30, pas grande influence. Ce prêtre de l'église catholique romaine est le second à se faire vacciner au centre de l'hôpital des districts de Djungolo.
Je travaille avec beaucoup de personnes et je pense que il faut se protéger et se protéger les autres. C'est pour cela que je mets pour le vaccin.
Depuis ce matin, c'est plutôt le type de gens qui viennent pour se faire vacciner qui a changé. Dans les derniers jours, on avait des gens qui venaient pour le voyage ou des entreprises qui envoyaient leur personnel se faire vacciner.
Autre lieu, le centre de la délégation régionale de la santé pour le centre. Ici, tout est mis en place pour accueillir le plus grand nombre de populations âgées de 18 ans et plus. À notre arrivée, une vingtaine de personnes s'étaient fait vacciner contre le coronavirus.
C'est une affluence quasi normale. Elle n'est pas totalement exceptionnelle. On se dit le matin, les personnes vont d'abord faire un tour au niveau du bureau avant de venir se faire vacciner au niveau du poste de vaccination.
Pas grande affluence donc dans ces centres de Yaoundé. Les autorités sanitaires espèrent néanmoins enregistrer plus de personnes vaccinées au 11 juillet 2021 pour pouvoir atteindre les 20% de la population vaccinée contre le Covid-19 au Cameroun.
En économie, Crise Essiane, les ouvertures demain du guichet producteur cacao et café.
Exactement, Moki. Il est initié par le Fonds de développement des filières cacao et café. L'outil innove en mixant appui à la production, modèle de bancarisation et inclusion du digital. Notre reporter Régine Gladys Lebouda nous explique.
Pas d'appel d'offres, zéro marché à passer, aucun stock à constituer. Juste une commande et une livraison. C'est le plus du guichet producteur institué par le Fonds de développement des filières cacao et café. L'outil permet aux travailleurs de ces filières d'obtenir engrais, semences, produits phytosanitaires à des prix réduits et surtout équipements sans lourdeurs administratives. L'exploitant débourse 60% du montant et le FODEC complète les 40% restants directement auprès du fournisseur. L'instrument vient résoudre plusieurs problèmes. Jusqu'ici, la distribution des intrants respectait rarement le calendrier agricole. De plus, les producteurs de cacao ont souvent de la peine à constituer une épargne, ce qui les rend vulnérables face aux coxeurs. Le guichet producteur leur fournit des comptes bancaires pour mettre de côté l'argent de leurs intrants après les récoltes. 6 milliards de francs CFA sont mobilisés pour 2021. La phase pilote va soutenir plus de 14 000 producteurs recensés dans le département du Mungo avant d'essaimer tous les bassins de production de cacao et de café. Le guichet producteur espère ainsi porter le cap de 640 000 tonnes de cacao et 160 000 tonnes de café à l'horizon 2030.
L'association Pro-Mandicam et le Centre Cameroun Cluster Programme viennent de clôturer à Yaoundé une série d'activités socio-culturelles et parasportives en faveur des personnes vivant avec un handicap. L'événement avait pour but de promouvoir les qualités humaines et sportives de ses adhérents. Eunice Enémé.
Une voix pleine d'espoir pour donner du sourire à la personne handicapée. Ils ont présenté leur savoir-faire au cours de la cérémonie de clôture des activités socio-culturelles et parasportives. Au menu, karaoké, concours Miss Master, exposition de stand.
Je suis très content de participer à cette activité parce que je suis d'abord un handicapé et ça me permet aussi de pouvoir voir les autres handicapés. Ça me permet de pouvoir aussi me développer plus dans ce milieu.
L'événement organisé par le programme DICAM et le Centre Cameroun Cluster Programme vise à promouvoir la personne handicapée.
On a constaté que les personnes handicapées sont la plupart des temps cantonnées dans leur maison, ils ne sortent pas et certains sont talentueux, mais personne ne voit ce qu'ils font. Donc ils fabriquent les choses, ils peuvent chanter, ils peuvent essayer, mais il n'y a pas de possibilité pour s'exprimer.
Cérémonie clôturée par la remise de trophées aux participants de certaines disciplines sportives et autres activités socio-culturelles.
En culture, le coronavirus en a fait voir de toutes les couleurs aux arts, mais il faut tenir bon. Voilà l'esprit de la 7e édition des rencontres des arts visuels de Yaoundé. Les ravis qui viennent de livrer ces derniers tableaux à Yaoundé au cours d'une exposition sous la direction artistique de Landry Mbassi au Centre international pour le patrimoine culturel et artistique sur le thème Mouvement contre mouvement. Steve Tchega et Kambenke.
Regard des arts visuels sur la Covid-19. Les pinceaux ont mis une idée sur les tableaux de la galerie de la 7e édition des rencontres d'art visuel de Yaoundé. Ces couleurs ont un thème, mouvement contre mouvement. Une antithèse colorée pour cerner le bon et le mauvais côté des choses. Cette édition invite à suivre les mouvements de 10 artistes plasticiens, dont Aliou Moussa, Yvon Gassam, Zach Ndam, Grace Dorothée Tong, Arnold Fokam, Lena Noubibou et Jean-David Cote. Ces pros du pinceau s'expriment sur les mouvements que le monde a connus ces 2 dernières années, grippés par la Covid, sous la direction artistique de Landry Mbassi, ici au Centre international pour le patrimoine culturel et artistique. Entre ces murs, Yvon Gassam a aussi dressé une barrière aux migrations clandestines qui en font voir de toutes les couleurs. Le festival s'est déroulé pendant 4 jours et a connu un débat. État de l'art post-Covid au Cameroun, 237 raisons de boxer la situation. Il y a du mouvement.
Parlons maintenant, Caresse et Siane, des journées scientifiques de l'Institut des sports François Mbango.
Exactement, les journées scientifiques de l'Institut des sports et de l'éducation physique Françoise Bango ont ouvert leurs portes ce mercredi. Les thématiques principales au programme sont les questions de savoir et la préparation de l'agir compétent dans l'optique d'un rendement de qualité. Le reportage est signé Marthe Ambani.
Lancées ce mercredi à Yaoundé, les journées scientifiques à l'Institut de formation Françoise Mbango sont un moment d'échange entre le corps enseignant, les apprenants et les experts du domaine sportif. En guise de leçon inaugurale, l'histoire de cet institut dressée par le parrain de l'événement.
Le sport est aujourd'hui ce qui structure le statut des puissances mondiales. Il n'y a pas de puissance mondiale qui ne soit une puissance sportive également. Donc l'investissement dans le sport n'est pas du tout dû au hasard. C'est parce qu'il procure une visibilité symbolique, mais aussi réelle.
Le management sportif et le rôle des acteurs du sport étaient également au centre des échanges.
Pour moi, c'est une façon de pouvoir encore renforcer les compétences des enseignements des étudiants et de faire donc le partage du savoir parce qu'on est toujours en perpétuelle recherche de savoir.
Bientôt 1 an que cet institut a lancé ses formations liées au sport à travers différentes activités académiques. Ces journées scientifiques, qui vont durer 3 jours, se veulent riches, denses, interactives et fécondes pour tous les apprenants.
Merci Marc Tambani, c'est avec votre reportage que nous clôturons cette édition du 19h, mais Twilight se poursuit avec Moki Adwin Kinzeka.
Thanks, Karasisiam.
Thank you,
Thanks for being there. We shall be concluding with our guest from the CMA very soon.
Coronavirus is a dangerous disease. We can avoid coronavirus by not getting people with your hand. Wash your hand with clean water and soap. Don't not touch your mouth and your nose. Always wear your face mask.
To the program of the CMA as from Friday through Saturday and Sunday. I would like our guest here, Reverend Kizito Stephen Forby, you are majority, or this group association was founded, if I'm not mistaken, first of all from the English-speaking regions of Cameroon that are in crisis now. Reverend, what have been your inputs in solving those crises?
Well, the CMA has not been indifferent to the crisis that Cameroon is going through. Our group, being a church group, we bring in faith-based resources alongside political resources and other economic resources to be able to solve this problem. So we have undertaken a series of prayer sessions. For example, in July of 2018, we had a 9-day novena called the Storm Novena to be able to pray for 9 days so that an end can be put to the Anglophone crisis. Again, in October 2019, we undertook another novena which is called Rise Up in Hope, which was a novena which was undertaken for a successful national dialogue. And we have a prayer that every Catholic man should pray every day, which is solidarity prayer against the coronavirus also, which is another prayer against the pandemic that we are going through. So you see therefore that our resources are particularly faith-based resources that we bring along. Also, it is not only prayers, we have also assisted the bishops to take care of internally displaced in their various dioceses, given that they mastered that situation very well. So we have come with financial aid to the various bishops, and they do take care of the internally displaced in their respective dioceses. That notwithstanding, We are also going out, like we will do during this conference, to be able to propose other faith-based solutions like telling the truth, like what I would call forensic truth, not the truth and nothing but the truth about the situation. We shall also talk about forgiveness as part of the conflict resolution process, and we shall also be thinking about the aftermath of the conflict, which is like rehabilitating people, having a mental revolution for people. So we have a formative program which the Catholic men will have to bring down to the grassroots levels to be able to have this post-traumatic period.
Dr. Wang, what about those who leave the regions and they need help here in Yaounde? What have you been doing to assist them?
Yes, most of our homes are crowded. The home can never be too small for the needy. And we do everything to not only housing them, feed them, take care of their medical facilities, clothe them. And those with whom we don't live, particularly in our churches during offertory processions, there's always a basket for these, our brothers and sisters. And many of them who did not know how to get to us are getting to us, are rushing. And even in our offices they are coming. But the issue, as Father said, is how to really rehabilitate them. Some have been asking for some small envelope to start businesses here in Yaounde. We have been trying to do what we can. We can't do much because you must also have before you give. But with the spirit of sharing.
Okay, let's see. Now, let's go to the spokesperson, Richard. Then, what is the program looking like from Friday?
Yes, okay. The program begins on Friday with the arrival of delegates. We expect that delegates should arrive on Yaounde by 2 p.m. on Friday, and they'll we'll have accreditation at that time, and by 4 p.m. they will be at the conference or Congress Center, which is the multipurpose sports complex. That's where they will be at 4 p.m. And by 5 p.m. we'll have the first working session, and we retire by 6 p.m. and for break. And by 8 p.m. we resume for the second working session, and we continue up to 10 p.m. when we have Vespers. And on Saturday we have the Pontifical High Mass at the Holy Mass at the Our Lady Queen of the Apostles Minor Basilica in Volier, and that Mass would be celebrated by the Apostolic Nuncio to Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, and assisted by the Archbishop of Yaounde, Jean Barga. And after that, in that Mass, we expect a lot of dignitaries. Most of our guests would be part of that Mass. And after that Mass, the delegates will move back to the sports complex, where they'll continue with the business of the day.
No time to rest.
Sorry?
No time to rest at all.
No time to rest. In fact, we have a very charged program, Muki, and until Sunday by 2 p.m., when we expect that people should be going back to their various dioceses. And I think the organizing committee has taken measures for those who will be coming in from the northwest and southwest regions, because they may not be able to travel back on Sunday for reasons you and I know. So the organizing committee has taken measures.
Very huge bills that to pay. Who pays?
Well, who pays? The members of the CMA, Moki, have contributed. We have annual contributions that are made, and on the Congress here, the money comes together, and we have some goodwill people who have been able to appreciate just saying what we have been doing, and have said, please take this my own little support, and we do appreciate them, those who have helped us to be able to host this Congress, to make sure that this Congress goes on hitch-free.
Is it for Catholic Christians only? Have you invited, I know there is this ecumenism in Cameroon, did you think about?
We have invited the Presbyterians, because they have a men's group too, like the Christian Men Fellowship. We have the Baptist Men Fellowship, Cameroon Baptist Men Fellowship as well. We've invited them. We've invited the Muslims. Let them come and see how men of the Catholic Church can also do things.
We shall be leaving soon, but when I have an opportunity of meeting you, there's what you call your anthem. I don't know if I'm asking so much.
No, we have our anthem. To say
that the men should sing the anthem here. Let's say, Father, I hope not sing too much from you. So I'm all ears.
You are not sing the anthem.
Okay, we'll sing the anthem, right?
All right, let's go. We Saint Joseph, ever near to guide me. I am safe, whatever may betide me. From the storms and tempests, he will hide me in the hollow of his hands. In the hollow of his hands, in the hollow of his hands, I am safe, whatever may betide me. In the hollow of his hands, in the hollow of his hands, in the hollow of his hands, I am safe, whatever may betide me. In the hollow of his hands.
The men can sing.
Saint Joseph, man of honor, pray for us.
And our St. Joseph's Club is like this.
I hope the women are not jealous now, because they also have a Catholic Women Association. See them,
yes,
right?
well, invited.
They will not rivalry. They will be
all of them will be part of it.
Okay, the last one now.
Well, I would just like to summarize by talking about the objectives of this Congress that we are having. The first aspect of it is retrospective, in which we shall evaluate what we have achieved in the past 3 years, as well as see our pitfalls or our failures, and see how we can redeem them in the years to come. Secondly, it is prospective. In other words, we have to chart the way forward to see what we can do in the next 3 years, so the vision for the next 3 years. And as Brother Yaounde said, Brother Richard, we have also invited peoples of other faith, because, as I said, we are proposing faith-based solutions to the present crisis in Cameroon. So we have invited sister religions, so that together we can pool our resources in God to be able to propose solutions to the present crisis in Cameroon.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for coming to the show to explain. One thing I'm envious of is he was calling you Brother Richard, Brother Yaounde. Nobody called me Brother Edwin.
we were hoping you would join us.
Invitation for me then
you will have
Brother Edwin.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's where we end today's edition of Twilight on CRTV News, an edition in which we got members of Parliament here, Honorable Ministers Fru Manju from Mezam Center, Bamena and Badi, to talk about what they discussed at National Assembly. He was accompanied by Honorable Fongang Prudencia Injo from Momo East, that is in Bangui. We also listened to officials of the Catholic Men Association to talk about their national convention that begins on Friday and ends on Sunday in Yaounde. Reverend Kizito Stephen Forby, National Chaplain of the CMA, Dr. Ewan Andrew, CMA President for Yaounde Archdiocese, Richard Nde, who is National Communication Secretary for I am Edwin Kinzikan Yaounde. Thank you for watching.
Élève de terminale au lycée bilingue de